If you want to know the 7 free strategies that I use to get free publicity, make sure that you stay until the end of this video. Welcome, my name is Simone Vincenzi and welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Biz Show. I'm really excited as today I'm going to reveal what are the 7 free strategies that I use to get free publicity. So make sure you stay tuned because it's really exciting. As you know, this is part of our live video training series that we do every Tuesday at 7 p.m. UK time, and then we publish on our podcast and on YouTube as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, welcome. If you're listening on iTunes, great, you're awesome. If you're watching on Facebook, the replay, awesome. If you're watching live, awesome, you are awesome. So without further ado, let's dive deep into these 7 strategies, shall we? Absolutely. Now, actually, before we do that, let's talk about one thing. Now, a lot of people that I told to, they say, oh, I'm afraid to get out there, or I don't want to be perceived as the person that is always out there. It's about my mission, it's about my message, it's not about me. Now, get out of this mindset, first of all, because it is about you. It is about you as the person who is delivering the message. And the person who is delivering the message is equally important, if not even more important than the message. Now, you will have some people that you will respect and follow more than other people. That shows that the same works for other people. If you become someone that is worth listening to, worth understanding, worth following, people will do it. But if you don't make yourself interesting, if you don't take care and make it serious to build your profile, to build your credibility, to build who you are, and to show it to other people and to the masses, then people will see, well, that person maybe is not that important. And then they will judge your message because they will judge you first. Right, and so you deprive them from the opportunity to get to listen to your message and to get to listen to the transformation that you can deliver in their life, in their business, in their organization, whatever is the field that you are working on. Sounds cool? Brilliant. So now that we have destroyed this myth, which is it's about my message, it's about my logo, it's about no, it is about you. It is about you, and it's important that you make it about you. Boom! Awesome. So what are these 7 ways? Well, there are a few tools that I'm using, which I'm going to share with you. Number 1, I shared it before, and also it was mentioned in episode 113, which is the episode where I interview Jill. And we had this great conversation about how to get free PR and free publicity. So if you haven't listened on the podcast on episode 113, make sure you check it out because Jill and I had a great conversation. Now, and let me give you the full name, which is Jill Lublin. Jill Lublin and I had an incredible conversation. So what is one of these ways? Well, one is a tool called Help a Reporter Out, which is H-A-R-O, Haro, Help a Reporter Out. You can find a website which is helpareporter.com. It's a free directory that connects journalists to experts. So every day you will receive literally tens of dozens of requests of journalists that are asking for experts to share their opinion, their view on something. By you being fast, you need to be fast every single day, replying to this email, then you will have the journalists getting in touch with you and then feature you on television, feature you on magazine or radios, on podcasts, depending on who they are and what they are looking for. This is an incredible tool. I had literally dozens of articles published because of Haro, H-A-R-O. Make sure you check it out, Help a Reporter Out, helpareporter.com. So that's one. In a very similar way, there is another tool. There is another tool that works incredibly well, which is called Source Bottle. Source Bottle. Let me repeat it again. Source Bottle. And I think it's sourcebottle.com or sourcebottle.net. You can check it out. And this is an Australian website, which focuses mainly on the Australian market. However, it has a lot of journalists also from the US and the UK. And the reality is that in a global business, in a global market, it doesn't matter if you get interviewed on an Australian magazine. I remember through Source Bottle, my article that was selected got on the cover on the magazine. So now that was a huge boost for my publicity, because now I can use that picture of my article there in front of the front cover everywhere, and that boosts my credibility. So that's something that you can do too. So you never know who is the person who is going to listen to you, who is the person who is going to find out your message, and who is the journalist, where they're writing, who are they writing for. So that's Source Bottle. Again, every day you will receive a list of journalists looking for ideas, you're looking for experts, and then you need to be quick and to respond with a very short message. So when you respond and you pitch for Haro or Source Bottle, you don't have to write an essay or the entire article. You need to do three things, right? This is what makes a great pitch. First of all, telling them why they should listen to you. Like, first of all, like, why are you credible? Why are you a credible source? Secondly, give them a way that maybe they've not seen things before. So the more unique the way that you are promoting is, the more chances is going to be picked, because you're giving them something unique. You're giving them not something that they've seen before. Now remember, they will receive literally sometimes hundreds of responses. So what's going to make your response stand out? And then the other thing is that you need to be very concise. You need to be very clear. So it's about you, it's about your idea, and then a call to action. If you want me to write the article, this is what I can write. Contact me here. So make it easy for them to find out about your work. And if you've already written for other publications, you can give them a link of an example of another article that you have published for another publication. Or if you don't have another publication under your belt, then you can share an article that maybe you wrote for yourself. So they can understand, and if they're interested, they're going to check you out and they're going to see if they like your style. So that's how you are going to make a great pitch for Haro and Source Bottle. So these are the two great tools that you can use. Let's move on. Another one is Twitter. Oh my God, Twitter. I absolutely love Twitter. Now, I'm not actively engaged too much, but when I want to connect with someone, I connect with them on Twitter. So this is what I do. If I wanted to be featured on Forbes, Entrepreneurs, Inc., Fast Track Company, so all the major publication, but also other smaller publication, Twitter is a great way to build a relationship. So what you're going to find a journalist that you know writes about the thing that you want to talk about. So this is important. You need to do your research up front. If you find a journalist, you will write about you will find a journalist that already writes about the things that you want to write about. So then there is a perfect alignment. And then you start building a slow relationship. You start sharing their articles that they're writing. You start connecting them with other people that you think that can be relevant for them. So now you become that person, the trusted person that they trust when they need a piece of information. So now because you told to them, they will get to know what you do, and they will come to you and ask you, hey, can you give me a piece on this? Or you can, after a while, the relationship is developed, then you can even ask, hey, I would love to do this piece. Can I please do it? And can I please be featured on your column? And this works incredibly well, but it's about building a relationship. So I've done it a few times, and it worked. I remember there was this guy that I started approaching that was writing for Forbes, and I started texting him, and I started started this Twitter thread with him, and I started recommending other articles that I wrote, and it worked incredibly well, and then invited me to be featured on his podcast, and invited me to be featured on his website. Unfortunately, I didn't get featured from there on Forbes, but then he gave me the content for the person who actually gave me the content to be featured on Forbes. So it's all about relationship. It's all about the long-term game. You will never know where the relationship of a journalist can lead you, because remember, they are well connected. It's their field. It's what they do day in and day out. So the more relationship you'll have and the better they will know you, then they will connect you with other people when the time is right. So make sure that you do that. So this is the third one. We talked about Haro, we talked about Source Bottle, we talked about Twitter and how to use it. Now let's move to the fourth one, which is actually have your own podcast. Now you're saying, what? What do you mean, Simone? I need to have my own podcast? But I want other people. I want to appear on other people's blogs and articles. I want to appear on Forbes. Why do I need to have my own podcast? Here's why. Every person that runs a personal brand, even a journalist or contributors, they are looking for a new audience. They are looking for new opportunities. Now, instead of saying like everyone else does, saying, oh, can you please feature me on your column? Or can you please write about me? Or can you please write about my company? Then you can say, hey, I love the work that you write, that you do. I love the articles that you write. I would love to interview on my show. Boom. Is it not a great way to build a relationship with people? Now, you kill two birds with one stone. One, you create content for your audience. Right? You need content for your audience, right? So you create content for your audience. And from the journalist side or the contributor side, then you're giving them something awesome. You're giving them already something they can work with, and you're going to give them an opportunity to build a larger following, which is what they want for their work. But now here's the thing. Now you build this relationship with them. So you interview them, then you might connect them with someone else. And then you're saying, hey, I also would love to be featured on this magazine. Do you know how can I do it? Because they already contribute. So it's not, can you please feature me? So I would love to be featured. I would love to contribute. I would love to share my idea around this topic. Do you know what's the process for it? Do you know how can I do it? Now, if you did a good job building a relationship, they will say, you know what? I would love to write about that piece. If you have the right topic, if you build a relationship well, they will do that, and it works incredibly well. I've done it many times, and that's how I get most of my features, because I'm looking for people that can connect me. I'm looking for people that are well connected. I'm looking for people that it's not just about creating content. My podcast, and this is one that you're listening right now, is a long-term game. That's my networking. I find interesting people that I want to network with, great influential people that can be future business partners, or they can be great influencers, they can spread my message, or they can be just cool to hang around with, and then I interview them. So that by you having your own show, it gives you that platform for you to build those relationships without being like everyone else that says, oh, you know what, can you please feature me on this? Can you please feature me on that? No, you're going to be different. You're approaching it from a different angle, and that's what works. So make sure you do that. So that's have a podcast, your own. Now, the other one, which is very connected, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one is get on other people's podcasts. Now, if you have your own podcast, this is easy, because then you're looking for a podcast where you want to be interviewed at, and then you're contacting the host and you're saying, hey, can I interview you for my show? That's the easiest way to get on a podcast. You have your own show, you're asking the guest, the host, you're saying, instead of sending a cold pitch, you're saying, hey, I would love to interview for my show. Now you build a relationship, but then at the end of your show, you say, hey, would you mind interviewing me for your show? I would love to be interviewed there. If you click with them, man, there's going to be a yes. But this is the thing. Podcasters, they know other podcasters. So what happens? They like the interview that you do for them. Then you're going to ask them, do you know someone else that might be a good fit for my message? And they will say, oh, let me connect you with those people. Suddenly, from one interview, then you will book other 3, 4, 5, and you never know when it's going to lead. And I'll tell you the story. I was interviewed recently in Entrepreneurs on Fire. That is one of the largest business podcasts on iTunes, and they have 1.3 million listeners every single month. It's crazy. It's been running for more than 5 years. They do an episode every single day. It's huge. And to get there, there is a huge waiting list first, but secondly is recommendation only. So because everyone wants to get there, they receive like 300 pitches every single month. Can you believe that? Right? And they release an episode a day, so they release 30 episodes a month. They receive 300. So how do you get there? Well, how do I get there? Was through mutual connections. So I've interviewed people on my show, I've been interviewed on their show, and then somehow someone that was already friend with John Liduma then connected with me, connected us together. And then he said, hey, John, I think Simone will be a great fit for your show. Now, because they already had a relationship, then John said, well, you know what? If you say so, I trust you, then let's book Simone. Now, it took me, after the booking, it was already other 4 months of waiting list. That's how long was the waiting list to get on that show. But then it happened, and now I'm having actually everyday inquiries and connections from people saying, hey, I've listened to your interview on the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast. Oh my God, it was amazing, and I would love to connect with you. That would never happen if I didn't go on other people's podcasts. So make sure that you do that. So that's number 5. So let me repeat again the one that I've done so far. 1, help a reporter out. 2, source bottle. 3, Twitter. 4, have a podcast, your own. 5, get invited on other people's podcasts. If you're liking this and you're watching live, guys, give me a good whoop, whoop, because it is insane. It's insane. It's good, this episode, right? I know. I've created it. I've run it. It's insanely good. Absolutely. Then you have another one, which is contact a journalist. So we already talked about Twitter, but this is the thing that makes the difference. If you know a journalist that you want to contact that already writes about you, then not only connect with them on Twitter, but send them a message, send them an email, start sharing them with content, start engaging in as many platforms as possible. So you want to almost follow them everywhere so that they can see that you are interested in them. But if they see you on Instagram, then they see you on Twitter, then they see you on Facebook, then they see you on LinkedIn, they're like, wow, this person is pretty serious. So in their mind, it will be, oh, what are they looking for? Like, this person is sharing consistently my stuff and they really like it. Sometimes they will reach out to you to say thank you for sharing it so much. So now that you've done this work, then it's time to build that relationship. So contact the journalist and then become a resource, because that's the last one, which is the 7th one. Become a resource for that journalist. Don't just contact them, but connect them with other sources, connect them with other people, because now you're building that relationship. So these are 7 ways to get free publicity. Now, there are also other ways that, for example, to get on television. This is a bonus one, and that's how I've been invited on multiple TV shows. I've been invited on Sky Television, on more like a local TV called the That's TV in Oxford. And if there is a TV show that you know that covers the topic that you talk about, start following the host. Look at who is the producer of that show, who is the person that books the guests. Because again, it's a relationship game. You build a relationship with the people that book the guests. You build a relation with the people that find the speakers. How do you do that? You follow them on social media. You interact with them. Because even if they are personalities, first of all, the host of that television show might be a big personality. They might not even manage their social media anymore. But you find that a lot of celebrities, they are still active on their own Twitter account. You'll find that. And secondly, you'll find that by connecting with the producer of the show, most of the time, it doesn't have a huge following because he's there working behind the scene. It's not the star of the show. But by connecting with the producer, then you will be able to get that TV gig that can make a huge difference. It's still part of your personal brand. It's still part of your effort to get out there. So these are 7 ways plus bonus one, which I just gave you right now, which is awesome, to get free publicity. And that's something I'm doing personally day in and day out. if I don't do it day in and day out, I'll do week in and week out. But I'm constantly thinking about where can I be featured, where can I go, what is my focus, because by doing that, I will be able to spread my message even further, build my reputation. Building the reputation, there will be more followers. Building more followers, there will be more clients. Building more clients, there will be more people that I can impact. And that's how you do it. I wish I could drop this mic, but I don't want to break it. It's new and I really like it. But imagine just a mic drop, like boom. Okay, that was a mic drop. Let's put it this way. That was more like a mic tap. But let's not take care of it. Let's not think about it. Guys, thank you very much for watching. If you're for those of you that are watching live, I really appreciate all of you here. Thank you for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching the recording, thank you for listening here on iTunes. I really appreciate it. And I don't take your time for granted. Really appreciate it. If you like this show, there is two things I want you to do. It's really important for me. Thank you. Please do that. One is to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button if you're watching live on Facebook. Like that Facebook page. Also, if you're listening, subscribe and then go on my Facebook page. Like my Facebook page. Do that. And then secondly, make sure that you send me a review. It's really important for us to spread this message about this show. We spend a lot of time, a lot of hours curating the content, making sure that actually this is something that makes value to you. And the more reviews we have, the more it will rank on iTunes, and the more, or in other platforms, and then the more people will listen to it. So I really appreciate the review. 5-star, if you think it's 5-star. And let me know, what is that you love the most about this show? Or if you have any question, write me any question there on the review, because then I will be able to answer personally your questions here on the show. Thank you very much for listening, watching, not reading, probably, maybe reading, because if you're reading the show notes, probably this is script is going on the show notes. But remember one thing, that together we grow exponentially. Ciao, see you next time.